Hello, it's Marissa, the fiber artist behind DamselDesignCo, and today I have a fun fiber themed process video planned. So let's dive right in. This is an amazing new fiber that I got in the mail. It's so gorgeous. It's by Long Dog Yarns, and this colorway is called A Whole New World. It is 80% Sheninko and 20% mulberry silk, and it's 20.4 micron. So it's super soft, and that silk really brings out the sheen within the braid. So my plan for this braid is to do my first fractal spin. I have just been spinning through all of my braids or bats just completely one way all the way through, and I thought this braid would be the perfect first fractal spin, the way like the colors are combined and there's some good contrast in there. So I'm really excited to spin this up. Summer Fridays has started at work, so now I have a few extra hours every Friday to use however I want, mostly for fiber arts. So I just wanted to show you how I'm going to do my first fractal spin. Quick pause, I found the most beautiful section. You can really see how the silk shines. So you can see here, like in the blues and purples, in the oranges. It's just amazing. I can't wait to spin this up. So the plan is to do a 2-ply. So I'm gonna half this braid and spin that all the way through. And then the other half I'm gonna divide into 2 sections. I think I've seen a diagram on Pinterest, so if I can find that, I'll show you what I mean by that. But so I can get the first fractal spin. I'm nervous to see like how easy it is to divide up this braid, because I have never broken up a braid like that before. Since I've only spun all the way through, I'd break it into more, into easier sections to work with. And I really hope that I can like keep the color transitions crisp so I can get that true fractal spin. So today I'm just gonna work on breaking up the fiber. I have this heavy duty scale machine. My fiance uses this for shipping packages, so I hope it's precise enough to break it up, because I want to get it evenly split so that hopefully that like the sides are even when I go to ply them. I know it's not going to be 100% exact, but getting it as close as possible. Now I don't plan on starting the actual spinning today because I do have a bobbin in progress on my e-spinner. I can give you a sneak peek. So I'm plying 2 different fibers together, and this is the first one. I got this over the holidays this year. It's so gorgeous. So it has this, I think it's like mulberry silk, most of it at least. It's so pretty. So it has like this pink hue to it, and then the other fiber I'm spinning is more burgundy, I would say, and it's got some tweed bits in there. So I'm gonna apply those 2 together, and I think it's gonna be really nice. It will be my first 2-ply with different fibers, and they're both 8 ounces, so I should get a total of 16 ounces, so maybe like 2 full skeins. But we'll see. I'll give you an update on that. So that's the reason I'm not gonna start the spin today, but I can prep the fiber for a fractal spin with the guidance. I think I've watched A Wool to Gold, a shout out to them, because I love their podcast. So using them as my guidance, let's get this divided up. All right, bear with me. We are gonna break up this braid. It's my first time doing this, so it may be a little clunky. And I've got my whole setup here with the scale. So let's see, I first want to see exactly how much it weighs so I can try to get it split in half. So Okay, it's measuring about 4.1, 4.2 ounces. It's a 4-ounce braid, so that's expected. And now I'm gonna break it up and see what we get. Let's see if I can get it on the first try to undo the braid. This is so satisfying. And you pull it from the right end. Oh, look at all those colors unfolding. And there we go. So these long stretches of color are what makes it perfect for a fractal spin. So I'm loving what I see here. Now I'm just gonna go for it, trying to get to split this braid into equal 2-ounce bits. All right, there we have it. It's an even-ish split. Now I'm gonna weigh it to see how far off I am. I don't know if I'm even gonna be able to correct it if I am off, but let's check and see. All right, so here's the first one. Oh, and this fiber is just so dreamy. Okay, it says exactly 2 ounces. That is kind of scary. Let's see what the other one measures. Okay, so it should be about, if the other one's correct, it should be 2.1, 2.2. Yeah, we're at 2.2. That's pretty darn close for me. I think I'm gonna leave it as is because that's a pretty close even split. I'm really surprised it went that well. But to get that fractal spin, I wanna break one of these bunches up in half again. And since it's even, it doesn't have to be exactly precise is my understanding. It's just that like that other half of the ply, since it's going to be a 2-ply, needs to be equal. But this is how I'm going to get that different color structure. So let's break up the second one in half again. For curiosity's sake, I wonder how even split I can get this one. Where's my end? Okay, I don't know which end is going to be easier to start from. Let's start with blue. Oh, it's like, okay. Try my best here. I'm still really impressed that I was able to split the first split pretty evenly. Oh, I can feel this one's off already. How do I get more fiber to the left side? Okay. There we go. That feels better. I wonder like how different fibers split. Like, do they split differently? I'm sure they do since they have like different staple lengths, but let's keep giving this a try. Yeah, and I wonder if some fibers split easier. If you have any experience with that, I would love to know. Just going through all the colors, I know that it's gonna be so fun to spin this up. There's there's already a little bit of spin in the, probably because I just balled it up, LOL. Maybe not the best move, but that's okay. We're learning here. It's a process. Yeah, you can kind of see the spin. Look at those coils. I'm not trying to take the spin out to make the split easier. There we go. More coils. Okay, spinning it out. Yeah, that's splitting pretty evenly. I mean, the scale will be the final judge of that. It's getting kind of piecey on one side, like tearing up into like not exactly one piece. Maybe I spoke too soon about it breaking evenly, splitting. There we go. Okay. So now these two, I'll start with one of these, spin it from top to bottom, and on the same bobbin, spin the second one top to bottom, not bobbin. Okay, let's see. One out. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Maybe I'm like a savant at like splitting fiber. And 1.2, I'm really impressed. This is not that bad. Really happy with how I split this fiber. It's going better than I expected. So these two will go on one bobbin, and then this one fiber will be spun on its own bobbin, and then they will be plied together. So that's what I've got for you. I will check back in once I start spinning. I think I'm gonna do the first one and spin it all the way through first, and then move on to the one that's split in two. So yeah, check in with you then. Okay, I finally found some time to start this spin. So I'm gonna start again with the one that I'm spinning all the way through, so it hadn't been broken up except for like the 50-50 split. So let's get started on this. I'm really excited, but I'm nervous because I do have a tendency to spin down the edge. So this is gonna be great practice for me to spin across and make sure I get those clean, crisp color transitions from purple, lighter purple to orange. And that's really gonna make the fractal part stand out. So hopefully I don't muddy these colors, and hopefully we'll be able to see that on the bobbin. Okay, this is what I've spun up tonight. It's looking pretty good. I started on this end and you can see the color changes. This one's a little bit muddy, but it goes like from that pink, orange, purple, blue, dark blue, back to purple, pink, and orange. So I'm really loving how it's working up. I think I'm doing a good job of keeping the colors pretty clean, but it is tough because it like starts to pull from here. So I just have to keep at it. I am going pretty slow, but it's totally worth it to get those crisp colors. So I'm gonna pause for tonight and I will check back in later. Hello, I am still working on the first bobbin of the straight 1/2 spin through. and the colors are looking really nice and crisp. I have just a little bit left, so I am gonna keep working on this. I've had the day off, so I've been working on this all day, honestly. But let's get this finished up, and then I'm gonna pop on the second bobbin. Probably won't start on that today, but let's finish this little piece up. Hello, we are back and ready to spin up the second bobbin. I've got the two halves ready to go here. So I'm gonna spin this one all the way through and then this one on the same bobbin all the way through so we can get that amazing fractal striping spin within the fiber once I ply it. So let's get started. Of course, I can't remember which end I started with. I guess I could go back to the video footage, but I'm just gonna go for it. I think I'm gonna start with this purple end, and I hope it was the same. And then I will also follow the same pattern for the second half of the fiber. I'm also planning to take part in Tour de Fleece this year. I started spinning last year about when Tour de Fleece got started, so I wasn't quite ready to dedicate the time. But I'm thinking about vlogging the experience. I would like to do a sweater spin because I haven't spun a large amount of yarn before of the same type, or like for a plaid sweater. Right now I'm kind of just spinning single braids. And I'm not part of any team. I know some people join teams for Tour de Fleece, but I haven't like gotten down that far down the rabbit hole, I guess. So I'm gonna be doing it on my own, and there's a few people hosting a sweater spin challenge for Tour de Fleece. So I've joined that Discord to keep me inspired and to keep me spinning for the weeks of Tour de Fleece. One thing I'm really nervous about is like for Tour de Fleece is the consistency, like if I can spin the yarn consistently for a sweater spin. And I think I'm gonna chain ply it because I found that's my favorite way to ply, and with it being a 3-ply, the yarn feels super secure, whereas like a 2-ply, I think some of my singles break when I apply them together. So I'm excited to give it a try, like really intend to use the yarn, because right now I haven't used any of my hand spun yarn. It's too special to me. I also really want to find a good pattern to spin the yarn for. I'm a little concerned like that I won't spin enough, or like it'll be the wrong weight if I have a sweater pattern in mind already. But what I think I'm gonna do is spin the yarn. I haven't really played with different gauges, I guess, with like spinning thicker versus thinner yarn. That's something I want to explore during Tour de Fleece. But I really want my sweater spin to be consistent, so hopefully I can find a unique sweater pattern, or like a simple unique sweater pattern that I can make the yarn I make work with the pattern. Yeah, my concern is if I pre-pick a pattern that I'll spin it too thick or too thin, and I'll have to like adjust the pattern to fit my gauge, and I really don't want to do that since I am newer to knitting. But I'm excited to take on the challenge. It'll be It'll be really fun and interesting to see how long it takes me to spin up a sweater's worth of yarn. And I want to knit a sweater because I heard that crochet takes a little more yarn than knitting. So if I'm gonna be spinning up 16 ounces of fiber, I don't know, I'm always worried about yarn chicken. I hate to be in the place where I don't have enough yarn to finish the thing I want to make. So I definitely buy an extra skein, or like if it's like 4.5 skeins, I'll always get 5. Or if it's like 5, I might get 6. So I just hope I can get enough yardage out of it. Cause I see people spin like sock weight yarn and ply it, and I'm just mind blown. Like, I don't know how they can keep their singles so skinny, ply it, and it still be sock yarn. I'm really impressed. I kind of just spin to what I'm comfortable with, and I honestly haven't even like measured the wraps per inch, because I'm just like nervous to see what it is. And I haven't used my yarn for anything yet, so it's really not that important to me. I'm just trying to get my groove and spin what I feel comfortable spinning. And it's fun. I love exploring that way. There's no expectations, and so if I don't hit like the size that I want, then I'm not disappointed. I'm really just spinning to spin right now. But with Tour de Fleece coming up, another one of my goals is to spin a thicker yarn. I have a really nice art bat, and I love seeing everyone's like chunky yarn. So it's definitely going to be a challenge. I heard it's harder to spin thicker yarn when you've been spinning thin, but it's going to be fun. I think Tour de Fleece is a great opportunity to explore. I don't know what possessed me today, but I spun up that whole second half of the braid in one sitting in one day, and it's looking so pretty. It was really fun working this second braid because the colors change so quickly. I'll show you side by side the different bobbins, and you can just see like how clear this one is. I mean, this one's a little bit muddy, but like the colors change so quick, and I can't wait to ply them together. But that's gonna be for another day because I have done a lot of spinning today. All right, it's plying time. I've got both our bobbins here on the electric eel wheel Lazy Kate. This was the first bobbin, this is the second bobbin. So we're gonna ply them up 2 ply to create the fractal yarn. Right before I get started, I wanted to quickly show you my setup for optimal plying. I have 2 little tabletops here. Phantoms in my fiber box, LOL. So on this little tabletop, I have my spinner, and then over here, I space it out with the Lazy Kate over here. So I have this room here to ply, and then the yarn will even out over this section. So I'll record that for you, but just kind of wanted to show you my little setup here. So I realized I made a massive mistake and forgot to switch the plying direction to S twist. So I have to undo all of this, put it back onto the bobbins, and re-spin it. This has never happened to me before, so it's super annoying that, of course, it is when I'm trying a new way of spinning. So I'm gonna go back and redo that. I'm not even like halfway through, so I'm happy that I realized it sooner, but I was just realizing it looked so weird. The singles are really not staying together. I wonder if I can like show this to you. But it looked really, really weird spun up, and like it was like plying all weird, like look how curly. So that's how I realized it. I'm glad I realized it before I did the whole thing, but still it's really unfortunate. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo that all and get to plying again. We'll see how it goes, because I've never made this mistake before, so I'm gonna unply it all and get started in the correct direction. So I'll check back in with you later. So I figured out my solution to plying the yarn in the correct direction. I will link a video here because it's kind of a long how to fix it video, since I couldn't really find any good resources on YouTube. So I'll link that here, but quick synopsis is I unwound all the yarn with a ball winder. So all the incorrectly spun yarn is on my ball winder, and now I'm running it back through and unwinding it. So spinning it in the opposite direction unwinds it, and spinning it a little bit more to get it spinning in the correct ply direction. And it's starting, like, it's working up really nicely. The yarn is a lot more balanced, isn't like plying crazy, getting all these crazy coils like it was. So hopefully you never have that issue, but I'm gonna keep going and then I'll check back in once all of my yarn is on the bobbin. Okay, after the plying fiasco, I finally spent the evening finishing correctly plying this Fractal yarn, and I think it looks great, even in the areas where like the colors overlap. You can see it on this side. It still shows a really nice mix of colors. And just for funsies, the leftover single I had, I chain plied it so we can see like the difference. Of course this one's gonna be a small skein, but I'm gonna skein this one up and then I will show the chain plied one so you can see how the colors look differently in a skein of yarn. So I'm gonna get this on the Nitty Knotty so that I can see the length of it and show you the finished skein. So I've got my yarn started on my Nitty Knotty, and I have my bobbin of yarn on a Lazy Kate just so that it'll spin freely as I put the yarn from the bobbin onto the Nitty Knotty. I'm gonna count while I do this so that I can, I prefer to count while I do it, count how many wraps to figure out the length or estimated length, just because counting it after is a little bit tougher for me. So let's wrap this yarn onto the Nitty Knotty. Okay, we have the finished yarn on my Nitty Knotty. I added the ties so I could go ahead and take this off right now and skein it up. Let me check my notes. This is about 420 yards of, I would say it's close to fingering weight yarn. I got it pretty thin. I never really measure the wraps per inch. I should if I'm going to use it so I can make sure the size of the yarn is correct, but I'd probably need to measure it in a few places. So I'm going to take this off so we can see what the finished skein looks like. I will eventually wash this, but just for our purposes, I just want to see what it looks like in a skein. Let me see, I'm terrible at turning the yarn into a cute little skein. If anybody has any tips and tricks, let me know. But let me spin this one more time. Okay. There we go. Give this another spin here. And pull that through. Okay, that looks legit. Wow, oh yeah, you can really see how the colors have blended together. Oh, I think it's made a really, really nice fractal yarn. So this was a success. I will be trying it again. I think the purples and blues are not contrasting enough, so I want to try this again with maybe like a rainbow type of fiber, just so we can get even more contrast, but you can still really see how the colors have mixed in together. I really do love it, and I think it really captures the spirit of Aladdin, a whole new world. Last part I want to do is just to make this little baby skein, just so we can see the difference between like a fractal yarn and a yarn. I chain plait it to preserve the color, so that the color changes are more dramatic. Yeah, so let's see. I will do that really quickly and come back. Okay, I have the mini skein. Look how cute it is. This will be great for like a contrast sock or something like that, but it's really cute. So this is the one that was chain plied, and it was chain plied to preserve the color striping. So that's what this skein looks like versus the fractal skein. So hopefully you can see the difference. And this was a really fun experiment. I will definitely be spinning a fractal sometime soon, but I really love how it turned out. And if you stayed to the end, thank you so much for watching. I will be vlogging during Tour de Fleece, so if you are into more spinning content, please tune in for that. I'll see you next time. Thanks.